Three reforms hit property investors this budget. One structure was carved out of all three: the self-managed super fund, your SMSF. In the next 20 minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what changed, the four structural advantages this creates inside an SMSF, and the three profile diagnostic that tells you whether any of this applies to you. Every property article you have read this week is about your property. Should I sell? Should I hold? Should I buy a new build instead? Those are not bad questions. They are just the second set of questions. The first question is the one almost nobody's asking, is where you're holding it. Three of the four structures you might own property in just got tighter. The fourth, your SMSF, did not. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Rasti Vaibhav. I spent over 9 years in institutional finance before moving full-time into property strategy. I have personally built a portfolio of more than 20 properties across Australia. I've written the Property Wealth Blueprint. And I've worked with several hundred investor families on the question this video is about. Not what to buy, but how to hold what you buy. The structural question. After this budget, that question matters more than it has in 2 decades. One thing before we start. This video is general information only. It is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to set up an SMSF. I do not set up SMSFs. I earn nothing if you do. And by the end of this video, you will see that for most people watching, an SMSF this quarter is the wrong answer. Anything you take from this video should be tested with your own accountant and your own licensed financial advisor against your situation. What I'm giving you here is the lens. Here is the roadmap. First, what the budget did with the legislative text on the screen. Then the 4 structural advantages of holding property inside an SMSF. Then a 3 profile scent diagnostic that tells you which conversation to have and when. Let us start with what the budget actually did. Here's what is on the table. Reform 1. From 1st July 2027, negative gearing on established residential property is restricted. New builds remain eligible. Properties bought before 12th of May 2026 are grandfathered, and anything you buy after budget night in personal name, family trust, or company is affected. Reform 2. Same start date, the 50% CGT discount is replaced with cost-based indexation and a 30% minimum tax on real gains. Reform 3. A year later, from 1st of July 2028, a 30% minimum tax on income distributed from discretionary trusts. 3 reforms, 3 different commencement dates, 1 feature in common. Each one excludes complying superannuation funds, self-managed super funds included. It is not interpretation, it is the documentation. The Treasury Laws Amendment Acts back it up. 3 reforms targeting property investors, 0 reforms touching super. That is not investors lost. That is a revein between structure, and it is sitting in plain sight in the budget papers. Hold that thought for a second. Before any of this becomes useful to you, you need to see the shift on a single page. Once you can see it, the strategic question changes. Personal lane, negative gearing restricted. CGT discount gone. Net effect tighter. Family trust, same negative gearing rules, same CGT rules, plus the 30% minimum trust tax from 2028. Net effect tighter still. Company already takes that 30% flat, no CGT discount to lose, but the new CGT regime applies on disposal. Net effect modestly tighter. Complying super fund, SMSF included. Negative gearing rules inside the fund unchanged. Trust tax does not apply. Net effect unchanged. 1 structure, 3 exemptions, that is the asymmetry. Now, an asymmetry on a grid is interesting. To understand why the major wealth press this week has been writing about SMSFs as a structural beneficiary of this budget, you need to see 4 advantages clearly. most viewers have never had them spelled out side by side. Advantage 1. Income tax inside the fund. Rental income earned inside an SMSF is taxed at 15% during accumulation phase, 0% once the number moves into pension phase. Compare that to marginal rate of up to 47% for property held in personal name. The same rent into the same hand is taxed at roughly a third of the rate inside super. Advantage 2. Capital gains on disposal. The 33% CGT discount inside super is preserved. The new indexation regime that replaces the 50% discount outside the super does not apply inside super. The technical reality is that effective CGT rate of around 10% inside the fund, dropping to zero in pension phase. Outside super, under the new rules, the effective rate climbs materially higher. Advantage 3. Borrowing is still permitted. Despite strong lobbying from the Grattan Institute and others to shut SMSF lending down, the budget left limited recourse borrowing arrangements, LRBAs, completely intact. You can still borrow inside super to acquire property. AMP returned to the SMSF lending market earlier this year, which has widened the product set. Advantage 4. The structural carve-out. Both major reforms restricting personal name returns, negative gearing, and the CGT discount replacement exclude complying superannuation funds, so does the trust tax. The structural advantage is not new. The budget made it much wider. Lower income tax, lower CGT, borrowing preserved, carve out from every reform that just hit personal name property. 4 advantages, 1 structure, none of which required new legislation to take effect, and the scale here matters. ADO data shows SMSF hold around $1 trillion in total assets, with approximately 70.5% of that, well over $150 billion, invested in residential and commercial property combined. This is not a fringe structure. It is a structure, a meaningful slice the country's most strategic investors already choose. Now, before you walk away from this video thinking SMSF is the answer for you, here are the 3 things you need to see. What this actually compounds into over 20 years. That a line most people will miss, and the part of the SMSF story that the pitches conveniently leave out. The maths first. This is where the property wealth blueprint comes in. The blueprint is a strategic plan we build for every client. It works backwards from your freedom number, the passive income you actually need, then maps the portfolio size, the sequencing, the borrowing runway, and the asset role each property is hired to play. Structure has always been one of the 5 blueprint variables. For most investors I work with, it has been the least attended of the 5. The budget just promoted it to the most strategic. Take the same investor buying the same property. $750,000, 20-year hold, top marginal tax bracket, $35,000 net rental at acquisition. Assume capital growth in line with long-run average for well-selected retro stock. Held in personal name under the new rules, rental income is taxed at the marginal rate for 2 decades. Negative gearing in the early years cannot offset wage income. At year 20, the capital gain runs through this new indexation and minimum tax regime. The same property held inside the SMSF is taxed under a different set of rules. Rental income inside the fund taxed at 15% in accumulation, 0 in pension. The capital gain at disposal taxed at an effective 10% in accumulation, 0 in pension. The exact dollar outcomes depend on your circumstances and your assumptions, which is exactly the conversation you should have with your accountant and your licensed financial advisor. But the shape of the gap is clear and it is significant. And the longer the hold, the wider the gap. And to put a third-party number on this, the Commonwealth Bank economics team modeled the negative gearing change alone as equivalent to a 90 to 155 basis point rise in investor mortgage rates in cash flow terms. A major bank using the RBA's own housing framework. The budget did not change where the property works. It changed where holding it works best. That is the shift. Now for the part he came here for. Out of every viewer watching this video, 3 different conversations need to happen. One of them is yours. Let me show you which. Profile 1. The potential, yes. Couple, both 48, household income $320,000, combined super $620,000. 2 grandfathered investment properties already in personal names. 15 plus years to preservation age. For this couple, the structural maths is at least worth a serious conversation with a licensed advisor about whether an SMSF fits their next move. The fund has enough capital to support a sensible LRBA deposit. Grandfathered properties stay where they are, working as designed. The 24-month wind test still applies inside super, with sharper teeth on the financing street. The asset job framework still applies. Property selection rigor is what makes any structured advantage real. Without that rigor, all of you have is text-efficient wrapper around a mediocre asset. Profile 2, the clear no. Single, 35, household income, $140,000. Super balance, $85,000. No investment property yet. Saving for a first deposit, 30 years to preservation. For this viewer, an SMSF property this decade is almost certainly the wrong answer. The fund does not have enough capital for an LRBA. Setup and ongoing administration fees will eat any tax advantage for years before the property meaningfully appreciates. The preservation lock removes the flexibility a 35 years old needs or life moves you cannot predict yet. The right move is usually to build the personal name portfolio first under the new rules, with the asset job framework deciding what each property does. Revisit structure at a blueprint review when super crosses $200,000. That is when the conversation with the licensed advisors becomes worth having. If you are this profile and someone is telling you an SMSF is the answer for you this year, you are being sold a structure from a strategy. Profile 3, the complicated. Couple, both 55. Household income, $400,000. Combined super, $2.6 million. 4 grandfather investment properties in personal names, considering super for property 5. For this couple, Division 296 is the blinding variable. The higher balance member crosses $3 million within 5 to 7 years on growth alone. An SMSF property now magnifies the trajectory. The 30 June 2026 cost-based election becomes a meaningful decision. The answer is not yes or no. It is coordinated with a licensed advisor. This is a profile where the A-team framework generally earns its place. SMSF experienced accountant, separate licensed financial advisor, SMSF specialist mortgage broker. You cannot run this profile out of one professional relationship. The complexity is the point. If you cannot tell which profile is closest to you, that itself is a signal to have a blueprint review. We walk through all 3 profiles in much more depth inside of a masterclass at getfair.com.au/SMSF, link in the description. One more thing before we close, and it is the part almost no SMSF case study does. Every one of those 4 advantages I showed you earlier comes with a real cost attached. 6 of them in the order they actually bite. 1. LRBA rates. Borrowing for property inside super is meaningfully more expensive than personal name borrowing. 6.5% to 7.5% on residential, 7 to 8.5% on commercial. The RBA cash rate sits at 4.35% as of June 2026. So you are paying a 200 to 300 basis point premium over cash rate for the right to hold property in a tax advantage structure. The premium has to be earned back by the tax advantage. Often it is, not always. 2. 20 to 40% deposit. LRBA mechanics require a much larger deposit than you would post outside. That capital is locked. 3. No cross-fertilization. Each property inside the fund is structurally siloed. You cannot lean on equity in one to fund the next. The pyramiding equity system we use outside super does not translate inside it. 4. Contribution caps. If cash flow inside the fund tightens, you cannot top up free. You're bound by the concessional and non-concessional caps. The buffers before bravado principle has sharper teeth inside super than anywhere else in property industry. 5. Setup and ongoing admin. Establishment, audit, tax, compliance. The fund has to earn its cost back before it starts compounding the advantage. 6. The sole purpose test. This is the one that ends the entire structure. If a member or a relative uses or benefits from the property in any way, even briefly, the fund can be deemed non-compliant, and non-compliant funds are taxed at 40%, not 15%. One breach, the whole tax advantage gone. Each of this is manageable with the right team around you. Each one is also a real cost. Anyone selling you the SMSF case who skips past them is not running the analysis. They're running the pitch. Let me put this together in 3 lines. 1. Inside an SMSF, the rules that just tightened on every other structure did not tighten. Lower income tax, lower CGT, body preserved. Full carve-out from every reform. 2. The longer the hold, the more that structural difference compounds. 3. If your super balance is meaningful and your time horizon is long, the SMSF question has moved from interesting or a few to worth a proper conversation for many. Not for everyone, for many. This is the same read sophisticated wealth managers are publishing this week. What it means for your portfolio specifically belongs in a blueprint conversation with the right professionals around the table. If you want to go deeper, we have built a free masterclass specifically on this question. It walks through the SMSF property decision in the context of the new budget rules, with the structural lens we have used in this video and more work examples. Built for the type of professionals who wants to walk into the next conversation with their accountant and their advisor already knowing the right questions to ask. The link is in the description, or you can type it straight in getready.com.au/SMSF. One last thing, and this is important. Everything in this video has been general information only. It is not financial advice. It is not tax advice, and it does not take your personal circumstances into account. Before you make any decision about an SMSF, about property inside super, or about your structure more broadly, please speak with a licensed financial advisor and a qualified accountant who know your full situation. They're the right people to translate any of this into a decision for you. The budget made one structure quietly more attractive. Whether it makes your structure quietly more attractive is a different question. And almost nobody asking the first is asking the second. That is a conversation worth having before your next decision. Keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.